So I'm here today to rust remove and treat with the POR 15. The goal is to get the whole of the front end to like a first stage of prep. So this is what the underside looks like. So it looks like they've filled a hole where there's been a fender light. There's little sticky up lollipop lights. So I need to, don't want to screw with that. It just looks like some filler. I want to get all of this surface rust off. Pull that down. I might try and push that dent out a little bit. Looks like it's got some other sort of coating on it. I'm not going to go too wild about, you know, pulling all the rust off. I'm putting that inhibitor paint on and it's going to be 100 times better than just leaving it. I don't know if people leave these in the UK. Oh, looks like it had a repair there. A little bit of weld. I will take this off and do it separately. Maybe I'll start with the inner inside of the wings, because I'm not sending these to shop blast because I don't want to paint the outside of them. I'm thinking maybe I'll concentrate on the fenders, see how far I get with those. And then maybe send these bits to powder coat. Maybe not powder coat, maybe just shot blast. It's coming up really nice. Going to change the brush. All of this stuff is like a bitumen based product. I don't actually see the point in getting it off. So this fender is the one with that bullet hole in it, and it's quite well dented in. I didn't film it, but the other fender, I pulled the dent out of that, and I'm just deciding whether I'm going to do that here or not. It's hard to say if it's a bullet hole or whether it's a spike or something someone's used to implement and just pushed it or whatever. The more I look at it, the less I think it's a bullet hole. But it's not uncommon for these things to get shot at when they're in the field. They'd stop using them, park it up, leave it there. That's it. So I've taken that steering arm off now. That fucked me a little bit. But yeah, the steering arm and the pinion arm, they're ready to go to the machine shop, have the balls taken out and be made ready for these tapered parts. I've taken the drive shaft out, the carrier bearing. I wanted to have a look at that, see how that was arranged. I think what I'm going to do is have a whole new drive shaft system made up, like new rear drive shaft, new front drive shaft, and carrier bearings supplied to match. There's a lot of slop in the rear diff, well, the only diff actually, so give that an inspection. But it might be that the differential gets, and the whole rear axle gets changed out pretty quick, but we'll see. Got the inside of the fenders painted with the POR 15. Got the inside of the hood painted with the final colour. I thought it was too light when I was putting it on, but I actually quite like it. It's growing on me a bit. I went for full gloss. See how that looks. I normally buy satin, but I went for full gloss. And basically just wanted it nicely coated. I didn't want to see the rust underneath there. I'll put a coat of that underneath here as well. And all of the bulkheads going to get that same treatment. I was hoping to de-rust all of these tins and get them all coated in paint, POR 15, but I think what I'm going to do is collect together all of the steel frameworks and everything and take them up to the shop blaster and get them coated in a primer, and then any little repairs or adjustments I can do, and then get them painted in that same grey. I think that's going to be a more efficient way of going about doing that. So I've got the car loaded up with a whole bunch of parts, not just the stuff I was working on last night, but I've got the slam panel and the undercover for the transmission, you know, the flywheel, torque converter, etc. Boxes full of miscellaneous pieces. Now I've dug out the headlights and so forth, get them all shot blasted and primed up, and there's a few bits and pieces I'm going to need to work on, and where the steering box is, it's going to need adjusted, but I think I'd prefer to work on something which has been shot blasted and cleaned. Just spent a bit of time and removed a couple of the studs out of it as well. It's going to save me a lot of time. I took the sheet metal parts and the frameworks and such up to the powder coating place, and they don't do like a wet paint primer, so they just blasted it whilst I waited. I've got some fractures and what have you to fix and repair, so they'll rust to pieces if I don't get them get some primer on them. So I'm going to take them back to the house and get them all painted up nicely. I'm super pleased with how they all came out. That would have taken me ages to have gotten that all done nicely. Once they've got some paint on them, they're going to look like brand new. It's interesting because you can see where the brazing has been done the other piece. You can tell it's been repaired. That's a really nice repair, but it's been done with bronze. Mad. I'm in my workshop at home. I'm going to make a start on doing the remedial works on these inner wings. I am so pleased I had these shot blasted. Look how nice they've come out. But I've got a couple of little cracks, stress cracks, which I'm going to address. So that's the second one done. I had a bit of a screw about with that. Ended up just cutting a couple of new patches. I have these neodymium hard drive magnets, which I just save like a big pot full. And I had it on the back side and it was behaving like it had no gas, or like you're trying to weld aluminium with a MIG. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, it's a very strong magnet and you're trying to put steel wire in there, and before it hits transition temperature it's screwing it all up. So yeah, that's an issue with that. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that went in. On the other side, nice burn through. I should grind this side down, grind these ones down so that the nuts sit nice and flat. I'm pretty pleased with how these welds all went in. Took a lot longer than I expected or wanted, but just get all the other bits off and we'll be done. Just get all of the splatter off, which there seems to be a lot less of on this one than the other one, and then I'll be done. that's pretty much everything done. I didn't realise that was cracked, so I could weld that up. I don't fancy welding in amongst paint fumes though. So I've got a decent coat of primer on everything. Don't necessarily have to use primer with the paint I'm going to use on this stuff, but I just wanted to get something on it, and spraying is going to be the most efficient, fastest way of getting that done. Love how these turned out. Headlight balls. The powder coating company are really good. So I was missing these two things out of here and I hadn't noticed, and found them in this coffee jar lid in the bottom of the box. I've been kind enough to save them because he saw them fly off, I guess. So that's pretty smart. I'd have been looking around for them. See that little thing in there? That's like a little bung they use to stop threads getting damaged. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Good bit of work done on these. If you're thinking of having any shot blasting done, I would highly recommend Colour Coat. They've done an excellent job of all this stuff. So that's slightly different to what I expected to do. Yes, I did get a coat on the light bezels and the top panel. Cleaned out that piece. I also got a coat on the inside, the engine bay side of the inner fenders. I really like the colour. I think it's really nice. Although I do think I might go for a slightly darker colour in the inside of the cab. Ah, I almost forgot. Got these stickers printed. I've sent some out. You might have seen them on Instagram. If you want one, send me a message, put a comment. Alright, take care now.